That revelation we have to show it's from God, right? From the entity that we're talking about, right? So why do Muslims say that the Quran is from God? Many reasons. I'll give you an example, right? One example is the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He existed 1,400 years ago. At that time, they had certain knowledge, certain information, right? They had certain view of the world. They don't have technology. There's no cars. There's no telescopes. I want you to put yourself in that position. And Prophet Muhammad could not read or write as well, right? So put yourself in that position. Desert of Arabia, couldn't read or write, no technology, nothing, right? And then Prophet Muhammad talks about the future, and everything he says happens the way he says it. He says it. Now, he's a criteria. The criteria is he makes multiple predictions, 10s. They are before the event. The predictions are not self-fulfilling. It doesn't say the book is going to fall and he drops the book, right? And it is clear predictions. Clear and specific, not just vague information like Nostradamus and this nonsense that you used to say, right? But actually clear things. Okay? Now, with this criteria, can any human being know the future 1,400 years ago and talk about the future even today?
I would say depend on the level of specificity, of these predictions.
Predictions.
No, okay, it depends. Tell me this prediction. Give me a few examples.
To make these. Prophet Muhammad said, specifying the Bedouin Arabs. So not all Arabs are Bedouin. Bedouin Arabs are a group of Arabs, right? Bedouins are, do you know what Bedouins are? Bedouins are people who live in the desert with tents and things like that. They don't have buildings and civilizations, right? So the people who live in the deserts are called Bedouins, right? Prophet Muhammad said you will see the Bedouin barefoot Arabs. Barefoot, they're not wearing shoes and this and that.
You will see the Bedouin barefoot.
Yeah, see these Bedouin Arabs, they're barefoot, they're walking. He's just saying they're very primitive. That's what he's saying by barefoot, right? You will see them competing in building the tallest buildings. Where is the tallest building in the world today?
And the Arabs, in Dubai or
Burj Khalifa in Dubai.
Khalifa.
Do you know 50 years ago Dubai was a complete desert? How did it change?
Oil.
Prophet Muhammad said the earth will puke its treasures. And money will become abundant within you, Arabs.
Well, to me, that might be a bit general. Again, And,
okay, let me tell you
if you don't put a time, limit.
I'll tell you why it's not general, but I'll give you time specific ones as well. But I'll tell you why I would.
Because I can make a prediction for the Chinese to be the tallest building, and I have 100,000 years in the future to test this.
No problem. I'll tell you the difference as well.
Okay.
Difference is number one, the Arabs were a very primitive civilization. They're not the highest superpower in the world today like the Chinese, right? It's not a fair comparison, right?
Okay.
Prophet is talking about very primitive people. Those primitive people were between two major empires, the two biggest empires in the world, Roman and Persian empires. And these empires were expanding. So you don't even know if tomorrow there will be Arabs anymore or they will be extinct to begin with, right? Okay. The Arabs were not known to build tall buildings. What the Arabs used to do is to build even in the floor to hide from the heat. They used to build in the floor, right? The people who are known with buildings are the Romans and the Persians and these types. So if you want to make just a prediction to be easy,
it was not the easiest of predictions. Let's agree on that.
You will say, oh, the Romans and Persians will be good, right? So, and to say the earth would puke its treasures, and to say that money would become abundant within you as well when they were poor nations.
Yeah, maybe it was too crazy.
The earth pukes was not a treasure. Oil was not a treasure until today and technology.
Okay, but he didn't speak about oil. He spoke about.
Prophet Muhammad said things like gold and silver. He said gold and silver and things similar to gold and silver. And the oil today is called the black gold, literally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm very logical. So I mean,
it's excellent. The point is, it is the idea of building up. You see what I'm trying to say? The more predictions I give you, the more you know for a fact he has to be a messenger of God, because he would not make all of these claims and all of these possibilities will happen to be correct in these ways. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I'm just starting with you, giving you the beginning, right? Prophet Muhammad speaking about the future, right? Let me give you 3 or 4, or let's say around that, of predictions that were very specific. Like for example, Prophet Muhammad, when he was let me start with this before I give you those ones I'm saying about. Prophet Muhammad named the countries that will become Muslim.
Maybe which countries?
Countries that Islam will enter.
Okay.
Said Islam will enter to Egypt, Islam will enter to Syria, Lebanon, Islam will enter to Jordan, Constantinople, which is Turkey, India, Pakistan. He said Islam will reach there. And he said you will overcome the Roman and Persian Empire.
And how do you find to enter? One thing is to enter, I mean, Islam
or to take over that. When you get that country, right?
Okay.
And he said you will overcome the Roman and Persian Empire. And this is what happened in history. Now, when he was saying that,
the Roman Empire was at its biggest.
Yeah, the Eastern Roman Empire, and the Sasanian and the Byzantine at that time, right? And we overcame them, both of them, right? And the point is, Prophet Muhammad, when he was saying that, That day he said that he was in a battle. He was outnumbered 3-1. They were building a trench because they were coming to attack him 3-1. The Jews, he had a treaty. They were behind him in the city. They betrayed him, and he didn't know if they're going to kill the people in the city. And let him tell it whether the people coming to kill them 3-1. And he, when they were building a trench, they came across a huge, massive rock. So they couldn't crash it, couldn't destroy it. So they brought the Prophet ﷺ. So he came, and when he was hitting, he hit the first one, and he said, "I see Persia, I see its palaces." Islam will he's saying, right? Now, in that situation, when you don't even know you're going to live tomorrow now today, look at the map, east and west, Islam exactly spreading in these areas, right? Also, Prophet Muhammad, when he was leaving Mecca and going to Medina because they were trying to kill him, the Meccan Arabs, they sent a bounty hunter. Bounty hunter was called Suraqah ibn Malik. Bounty hunter. They said they'll give you 100 camels, like millions now, right? If you bring us Prophet Muhammad, right? He went after the Prophet. Point is, he came close to the Prophet. His horse kept sinking in the sand and he fell. So he realized there was something supernatural about him. So he said, "I give you peace," right? Then Prophet Muhammad said to him, this is the point I'm trying to make, right? Then Prophet Muhammad said to him, "Would you leave us and you will hold the bracelets of the Persian king in your hand?" You know, the Persian king was the most powerful man on earth at the time. A man who is fleeing, traveling from Mecca to Medina, he doesn't know if he's going to live or not. The person coming to kill him.
He's promising
He's promising him the bracelets of the most powerful man. Now, how many things can go wrong with that prediction? He could die. He became a Muslim. He could die in battles. He could get a disease and die. The Muslims could not take over the Persian, which is the biggest hurdle in this story, which is to take over the Persian Empire and to take over the bracelets to begin with, right?
So this, how many people were present in that particular scene?
Yeah,
so
we have something now. When you talk about history now,
yeah.
Coming to history, this is what you're trying to talk about, right? We have the highest level of authentication when it comes to historical accounts. Why? Because Muslims, you know, Western history, this is how it works. You find something, you find the letter in a specific period. And you generally know that there was a king in that period called something. You find that letter has a signature of the same name of the king. The information agrees roughly with the political situation. They accept that to be history. Right? Muslims,
I mean, I'm not a historic, but
that's how Western history works, right?
Okay.
This is how Western history works. How does Muslim history work? We have all of that. But we have a person who was there, seeing the letter being written down. We have his name, have his biography, have every information you need to know about him. Now, that person transmitted information to another person all the way back to today. We have every single person in the chain. We know they met each other. We know the information about them. This is our type of history. So if someone were to reject this history, which is Islamic history, he literally has to reject every other type of history in the West, because no history even paramounts to the Islamic method of authentication.
And for this specific event that you mentioned, were there witnesses?
Yeah, Umar ibn Khattab, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and the person himself, Suraqah ibn Malik, right? There's multiple witnesses, right? This narration comes from different people, right? And this happened at the time of Umar ibn Khattab, who was the third caliph of Islam.
Who is the
third caliph of Islam?
What is caliph?
Second caliph of Islam. So Prophet Muhammad died. The first person who took the leadership is called the caliph.
Okay.
It's Abu Bakr, then Umar. At the time of Umar, when they took over Persian Empire, right? He gave the bracelets in his hand because this was well known in the community. That's why other people reported it, because it was well known. Now imagine if you were alive, would you gamble the whole? Because look, every claim you make, literally, if it's disproven, the religion is false. And every claim you make, people will say, because everyone believes you're the messenger of God. Oh, the messenger told me this, or I heard the messenger say this about that person. So anything that you say is literally the whole religion is at stake, right? So that happened exactly at the time of Umar ibn Khattab, and he heard the bracelets of the Persian king, the most powerful man on earth at that time, right? Also, Prophet Muhammad made a prediction about the Romans and the Persians at 618, 19, or 20. It's in that range, right? The Surah Rum was revealed. Surah Rum is chapter 30 of the Quran. It was revealed before Prophet went to Medina. The Prophet went to Medina in 622. Now remember the dates, right? Let's say 618.
Yeah.
618, the prophecy was made. 622, the Prophet traveled to Medina. Now what happened is, when the Prophet was in Mecca in 618 and 619, 620, the Persian Empire defeated the Roman Empire. took over Antioch, took over Damascus, took over Jerusalem, which was the Christian Empire. It was the holy city of the Roman Empire. Right? They completely decimated the Roman Empire. If you look at any historian, this was the end of the Roman Empire. If you will to look, the Persian king sent a letter to the Roman king calling him a dog, and you come here like this. It was completely the decimation, right? Now, what happened is the people, the polytheists of Mecca, they used to tease the Muslims because the Roman Empire was people of scripture and Muslims were people of scripture. The Persian Empire were polytheists, so they said they're polytheists like us, they're defeating you, and they used to mock the Muslims. Right? Yeah. So the Bedouin Arabs mock the Muslims because other polytheists are defeating people of the book, right? So then Allah revealed in the Quran that those Romans that you see that are defeated, they will come back and they will defeat the Persians. In 3 to 9 years, look at the date.
It says in 3 to 9, wow, that's...
In 3 to 9, you know the date, that you're talking about the date, right? In 3 to 9 years. By the way, the previous one was also date specific because it was the life of that individual. So his life could die anytime. Yeah. It's also date specific, right? So he said in 3 to 9 years, right? And it will be in a nearby land. The Romans will defeat the Persians. What happened is the Romans, they started their victory in the year that the Prophet traveled to Medina. 622 is the beginning of coming back. They defeated the Persians in the Red Sea, just next to Saudi Arabia, the nearby land, right? They defeated them. By 624, they went into the heart of the Persian Empire. They defeated the Persians. They went to the heart of the Persian Empire and they destroyed the Holy Temple. Right? And then, so 624 here is 7 years. From the time of the prophecy, let's say, is when the Romans defeated the Persians. And then, you can even say 9 years, going all the way back to 627, when, or 626 and 627, when the Persians were now fighting back, trying to, again, even though they were defeated, but they were still trying one last chance, and then they were defeated again, right? So now, would he possibly know this information?
No.
And this is, look, it was the two biggest empires of the time.
It's crazy to think that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Prophet Muhammad said, for example, I'll give you the last one, right? Prophet Muhammad said, and there are many more, right? There's many more, right? Prophet Muhammad said...
No, let me ask you, before you go to this one, yes. Because I don't want to keep you for forever.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Is there any other predictions besides, let's say, the Judgment Day that still hasn't occurred?
Yes, there are.
Like a big prediction, let's say, that is there.
I'll give you one.
Okay.
I mean, for example, there's Euphrates, the river Euphrates. Prophet Muhammad says the river Euphrates will dry up. And
I've heard about this one. That now people are saying that it's starting to dry up.
It is starting to dry up. It is starting to dry up. In reality, it is starting to dry up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't only say it will dry up. It says it will dry up and it will be a mountain of gold under it and people will fight over it. So it still didn't happen, right? But it is in the process of happening, right? This is one example of the things that Prophet Muhammad said, right?
And why aren't Muslims going crazy trying to find, looking for gold or oil or whatever it is?
Because it's not a praiseworthy thing anyways.
No?
Islamically, it's not praiseworthy to be materialistic and to only care about all the treasures. And the hadith says that they will kill each other for it. So, and this is not something which is good at all, you know? So it's not something which Muslims should be going and doing, right? Still, and the river is big. It's not a small river. Still, you have to wait for it to dry up. And then you will see people looking. I'm sure you will see Muslims looking. There's no doubt, but it has to dry up first, right? This is one example, which is a good question to ask because it shows that it's not just we have the things that benefit us with things that happen and we hide the other things. No, but even things that didn't happen are there, right? It shows that Muslims are very meticulous and many of these predictions did not happen until recently and they will stay in our books.
And what is there that still hasn't taken place? Because this one you are telling me, but it's now starting to happen. Is there anything like...
there is a narration of the Prophet ﷺ. He said that people will be, literally they will communicate with Siba', or in this understanding, it's wild animals. Something like a lion, something like wolf, we'll be able to communicate with them. That's another prediction that didn't happen, right? I can give you more, but I'm telling you, there are ones that didn't, right? So, which is interesting to know because you can't have an insight to the future, you know?
Exactly.
In a way, right? So, this is not the only evidence, by the way. There are different types of evidences as well. Like the Quran talking about the physical world. It talks about how life is from water, and we know everything biologically is from water, but the cells are 60 to 70% water, right? Quran talks about embryology and the baby growing every stage by stage. Professor Keith Moore, a Christian, he said that it has to be from God, right? He's a Christian, but he said the information here is the same information I see with the telescope. But 1,400 years ago, how would he know about this, right? And you have, for example, the Quran talking about ancient history, things that are not there and was not there in the scriptures of the Jews and the Christians. Like for example, the Quran claims that Pharaoh claimed to be God, the Pharaoh at the time of Moses. We know the Pharaoh at the time of Moses was Ramses II. Okay. Sorry, I'm giving you over.
No, I trust you. I mean, I don't know any of this, but
overwhelming information. But yeah, Ramses II was the pharaoh at the time of Moses, right? According to most historians. And today in Egypt, we discovered in the temple of Abu Simbel, it was buried. We discovered in the temple of Abu Simbel. This is the name of the temple, right? Abu Simbel. Yeah. We discovered that Horus and Set, which two Egyptian gods.
Yeah.
Let them walk by first. Make it like.
Maybe they are interested, no?
Yeah. So Horus and Set, which are two Egyptian gods, they're given a crown of divinity to Ramses II. Right? And he was crowned to be God, literally. Now, the Quran claimed that he claims to be God. The Bible didn't claim that. Yes, take one. Be careful with it, yeah? Thank you. So, how would you even know this information when we couldn't read the hieroglyphics until we discovered the Rosetta Stone, right? In 1799. We couldn't even know what the Egyptians believed. And this was not in the scriptures of the people of the book. And many examples like that I can give, right? But I don't want to be too long, right? I'll give you a few videos that has the information I was talking about, right? Then you can look at it, research it, and all of that. This is a good channel. It's called Many Prophets, One Message. Yeah? It has a good video about the predictions of the future. Right? Let me just subscribe, maybe. I'll try to put it for you. It's not my channel, yeah. So I'm not subscribing for myself. Don't worry. Look, let me just go to the. Okay, Quran Secrets of Babylon. You can watch this one, right? Mind-blowing.
So this is
this one, mind-blowing prophecies of Prophet Muhammad. They will have references as well, right? And there was something in Egypt, the Quran and ancient Egypt, right? Quran Secrets of Egypt, right? Watch these ones. It will give you references, and then let me give you one thing about evolution, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Go for it.
Yes. Okay, this is Dr. Iyad Quraibi. He's got a beautiful channel here, right?
Yeah, you can subscribe. Yeah. So
there's videos. Look at the videos that talk about evolution, right? It's not. He has a big series. It's not all translated yet, but many of episodes are translated. Look at these episodes. I think even the one about the genome, 99%, because you were talking about.
Yeah.
It's translated. Okay, you find it there, right?
I will.
So, after doing your research, if this information is true, would you agree that is reasonable to assume, and this is some of the, or reasonable to say, sorry, that this is from the Creator, or it would make sense for someone to?
It would be enough for me to think and keep going.
Okay, but you have to have a place in which you say,
a threshold.
Yeah, this is now the point, right?
Yeah.
So I would advise you to ponder on that, because sometimes Satan will just make you take more and more time for no reason, right? If there is enough evidence or enough to say that he could not have known this information, it would make sense to accept.
Indeed, I think that's the threshold.
Okay, yeah. So it's sometimes different for different people, right? So I like you being rational, which is good, right? Do you have any other questions for me?
No, I think that's great. I don't want to take any more.
No problem. Always pleasure talking to you. Anytime, come back. Same day, same time. If you have any questions, if you did find out something and you want to confirmation, I can easily answer it.
Find a few things to worry you about.
You're not from here though, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe you'll come another.
No, but I'm living in.
You know, I have the email. Just email me. Okay. You have my email, yeah? Pleasure talking to you, man.
قال يا عشيرتي جميعكم حتى ابنتي لا أغني عنكم فاعبدوا إلهكم ووحدوا.
إذا أعجبك الفيديو لا تنسى الإعجاب والتعليق، ولكي يصلك كل جديد اشترك الآن.